All right, people. This one have to keep it very short. You won't believe this, but this is probably the fourth time I'm recording this. Every time I'm recording it, I get a phone call or something like this and completely being disturbed, right? But I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. So what we're doing today is a Tradingview quick tutorial, very basic, right? I'm assuming you've already got your, what do you call this? You've got your account set up already. So we're going to take it from there. And I want to show you a few bits and bobs here, right? How quickly you can actually learn this. It's very easy. So number one, you've got your account set up. So I'm hoping you've got an account. So you're going to be logged in like this, right? Which is fine. So after that, what you can modify it. You can go to settings from here and you can change all sorts of other stuff if you want. It's entirely up to you what you do here. So this is my custom setting that I did. You can actually modify this yourself, right? So we're going to do it on a daily. We're currently on the market cap, and I want to show you a few bits and bobs. So I think somebody mentioned Harmony 1. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Harmony 1, and we'll have a little whiz through this, and I'll actually show you everything on this one. So that way we can see what's going on, right? So let's find a nice little location. I mean, we can take the whole thing and we can look at the trend. So what we're going to do, number one thing you need to know is your trend lines, right? Your trend lines are very important. So if the market is moving upwards, right, you make sure you put a trend line. It doesn't matter where you put it, but make sure you have multiple points, touch points on your trend line, right? So if you have this, and when this is a trend line will go on the bottom of all the candles if the market's moving up. So remember this, right? So you've got this and you can see we're trending up, which is very good. Then what we want to see is currently we've got a little bit of a dip here, so we're trending down. So we also draw another trending line to show that we're going down. So we've got that as well, and we'll take it from the top of the line. So as you can see from here, we've got two trend lines now. We've got a downward trend line and we've got an upward trend line. And for you to find all your tools, you can just go to this particular panel here, and you'll find all of those indicators there, right? So all the lines. If you star it, it will come up on this kind of a floating tool. So that's what I've did. I've starred some of the ones that I always use, and this is how I'm able to find out. Now, let's have another look at something else as well. So we know we've got our trend lines. We can see we've done our trend line, and always make sure your trend line is very long and doesn't matter what direction. And you have this particular point, which is known as the confluence point, right? This is exactly where both points meet up. Normally these points are your break up or breakdown. But in order for us to understand where the current market is going, we need to actually do a little bit more. So what we need to do, number one, is put a marker on our current resistance, right? So this was where our resistance was. So this is where it currently resisted and went down. So we've got a marker there, which is fine. Then we need to find another the current support that we can see. And we can see around these candles here, we've got some really, really good support going on. So we're going to use this as our temporary support. And we put another line. So we know that we've got this. Let me zoom in for you just to show you what I'm seeing. Give me a second. Right, actually I'm going to switch off the volume. So again, if you want to go to and find any indicators or anything like this, I'll show you this in a bit. Give me a second. I'll show you indicators in a bit, right? And we're going to do all of this. So let me get rid of all of this. You don't need this. This is my default setting that I do, but I'm going to just switch it off for now. So this is where we've got our support here, we've got our resistance here, we've got our trend line going up, we've got our trend line down, and this is the point where we're going to either break out or we're going to break down. But I want to tell you what I see in this particular chart here. By being around this particular zone here and being too far from here, we've got more chance of slightly going sideways, like going this way, or maybe even breaking down because we're too close to this area here, right? So we're going to give it a few more days. And then if we come back up, then we need to definitely break above this line in order to go. But we've got other data to suggest, where the market will be going and what we can see. Right, so now that we've worked this out, I want to also somebody mentioned something about a bull flag, and I want to show you how you do a bull flag. This is very important, right? Actually, let me do this, and I'm going to change the color afterwards, right? So you put it on the highest point and you find a low point that you like. So for example, this is technically a flag. I mean, we can go all the way back here and use this as a flag, but let's just use this particular zone here right now to calculate a bull flag. So we say this is the worst case. We went to the lowest point, and we'll put another horizontal just to kind of measure that. So we know that this is the low point we had after this specific dump back in February. And then we created a whole new pole, and this is your pole. Now what we want to know from all of this data that we've just gathered. Now I'll change the color just to show you what I mean. So I'm going to change this. So what we do is we want to go and use the pole, and we say, right, if we break out around this particular area here, right, so I've tried to put it as close to X as well, and this is where we're coming. So what we do is we'll put another one, and this just for rough guidance, just to show you what I'm trying to what I'm seeing, right? So I'll put this here, and actually I'll make it longer. So let's put it here, right? So this is exactly on the dot. As you can see, this is exactly on the dot, right, where we are currently. And so now we want to find out, okay, if we go up and we break out of this bull flag, then how far can we go? And normally it's the length of the pole. So as you saw, if I move this pole, it becomes longer, right? As you can see, it becomes longer if I move it to the point, and then if I move it here, it becomes shorter, right? Because obviously this data doesn't exist yet, but ultimately it gives you a rough idea. Now what we want to do is we want to double check if our Fibonacci confirms that as well. So this is my manual Fibonacci, right? And I'll show you the auto Fibonacci in a bit. So what I'm doing is I'm going from this particular candle, so I'm trying to keep it on the line, and I go down to this particular area, and as you can see, the Fibonacci 1618 confirms that this is exactly where the bull flag, where the bull breakout would be. Right, and you can see a price 0.37. Now, on a shorter time basis, if you're not looking for these longer time frames, right, and you want to do something on a shorter time frame, then it's very simple. You can just go to your indicators. And for example, I was going to show you volume. So you just put volume, and you can see volume will pop up, right? And we have volume showing up on the bottom. Again, indicators, you can use auto Fibonacci, right? And on the auto Fibonacci, I'm using the retracement because we're actually going upward, like the market trend is upwards. So I'm going to use the retracement. If we are having a market going downwards, then we want to use an extension. So right now I'm using a retracement, right? So you can see my retracement says to me where we are, and let me customize this a little bit because I don't like where the inputs, I want the numbers to be on the right. Okay, so let's do that, and you can see the numbers on the right. So the Fibonacci 1618 is showing here, but this is based on this current level here. As you can see, this is based on the last few days of data, and you know, a lot of people might turn around and say this might not be correct. Actually, this is 100% correct based on this data, because remember, the data that I've captured on my Fibonacci is not up to this level here. My data is more longer term, which is from here to here. I'm counting the full bull flag. So as you can see, it is slightly below the bull flag, but it's still there, it's still valid, right? So this is what you have to understand. But short term, you can use this, and you know, nothing is wrong. This will still show you where this is showing. I mean, I could show you my own Fibonacci and it will show the same number if I did the same thing here. But this is another quick way of doing your auto and understanding what things are. Obviously, measurement tools and this and that. I don't think I have to explain any of this stuff. This is all kind of setting and personalization. It's up to you who want to do deep dive, right? But basic, that's all you need. You need to figure out your trend line. You need to figure out, your upward trend line, your downward trend line, and find out. And also, a lot of the time, what will happen is you see, if you get some of this, right? This is funny. Some people might talk about ascending triangle, descending triangle, and I know I haven't caught up on it, but if we talk about ascending and descending triangle, and I'll change the color just to kind of reflect this, right? So not yellow, so let's use a different color. Give me a second. Let's use purple, right? So we've got this. This is, as you can see, this is your triangle. So this is how you find your ascending triangle, your descending triangles and everything as well. This is how you find it. You know, if I'm looking for a wedge, right, it's very simple. I can find a wedge by just putting a trend line from here all the way down here, right? And I can see that this is an opening wedge, right? So this is not a closing wedge. A closing wedge usually has more probability of it actually breaking down, but this has more probability of it going up. And as you can see from here, we have an ascending triangle. Ascending triangles have more probability of breaking up, right? So all of this data, I know it's a lot, but you know, just not to confuse yourself, as I recommend, right? And I'm always going to recommend this. Try to stick to the basic. Don't worry too much about all the other technicals because you probably won't need it. Just use the for the short term, use the auto Fibonacci. It's a very good tool to use. Unless you're doing something like myself, then you're doing longer term. Then you want to go to the manual, and from the manual, you can basically, you know, activate, deactivate, or do whatever you want. In fact, in the settings, you can set it up exactly how you want. Okay, so whatever numbers you want, like I always keep my 65 and 618 numbers there because that's my golden pocket. So I would use that. And talking about golden pocket, look where we are, right? Just have a look at exactly where we are. Let me fix this because this is slightly off. Let's fix this. There you go, right? And look where we are. Right, we're actually in the golden pocket, just below the golden pocket right now. So if we were to enter this particular area, then I can see we're going to have a definite breakout and go upwards, right? So just keeping it on this. So remember, channels are very important. If you're going to be trading, you don't want to be trading inside a channel. You don't know whether it's going to break down or it's going to go up. So here, the more likelihood, as I said, it's to go down, not to go up, right? So temporarily, we might go down a little bit. But if it does, just adjust the trend line. It's not a problem. And then find the new X point. So you see your new X point. And then from the new X point, you take your, again, our bull flag. You put it on that X point, and then you see where the price for that would be, right? So I hope this kind of makes sense how we actually calculate and how we look at future prices and what to expect, what not to expect. This is how we're doing it, right? As long as we've got enough data points to connect to, remember, we're fine, right? So there is no right or wrong in charts, right? Most importantly, like us lot, when we do data analysis and we're talking about the future prices and this and that, we're not actually only looking at the chart. And I've mentioned this many times. I don't look at the chart all the time. I only look at the chart to show it to you guys, right? If I've got a target, like right now, today, for example, if I was to go and buy Harmony 1, and my target for Harmony 1 is at 36, until I've come to 36, I'm not going to look at this chart. And I'll put an alert to say, okay, alert me when it's around 35, alert me. That's about it, right? I'm not actually going to go and spend time looking at this every day because it messes your head, right? It messes with your head. You don't want to be doing that. So hope that kind of makes sense. Now, I know a lot of guys might turn around and say, well, hold on, we see you show us Bitcoin logarithmic and this and that. Of course, right? But logarithmic wouldn't work on every one of these. You have to understand, right? Bitcoin has the longest data, longest history. So obviously logarithmic works on that. For you to check those, I don't want you guys to do it on the Tradingview because you are going to get confused. Maybe in the future, start dabbling a little bit. But right now, if you want that information, just go look into Bitcoin, all right? Just go straight into look into Bitcoin. And you go to charts, right? So this is where you are. Look into bitcoin.com, go to charts, and here you have all of your information. The ones that I would highly recommend you look at, Bitcoin Investor Tool, right? Look at that one. Your 200-week moving average heat map, look at that one. Your stock to flow, look at that one. These are very important. And your logarithmic is here as well, okay? So when you click into them, you can actually mess around with these charts as well. So you can just go in and zoom in and see what, what the data is showing, where we are and all of that stuff, right? You can see all of those things. From here as well, you can go in straight away and see exactly what's going on. Like, for example, with the heat map, right? You know when it's going to hit the red, we're going to top out, right? So that's what you have to understand. So right now we're like, what, slightly greenish yellow. So, we've got a long way to go, right? We're not on the top of the bull market and all of that. And, just to kind of get yourself a better confirmation of the data, just have a look at multiple of this. And this is really good because it's done for you, right? So rather than you trying to do your own things, it's done for you. And as you can see, we're nowhere near the top line and the price will change. So I hope this kind of helps. Look, if you just use the basic tools that I've just shown you, the trend lines, right, to see exactly where your confluence points are, your flagpole, and this would become your flag, and you can see the breakout, and you put a Fibonacci on it, boom, you're a bro, right? You're going to be trading like a pro. You're going to do it like a boss. You can show it to anybody and know everyone's going to be, wow, okay, this is good. Right? But this is very basic stuff that most people, we don't use the hundreds and thousands of indicators that are sitting here, right? I mean, if I go here, say, for example, public library, I mean, there's probably hundreds here, hundreds, right? Hundreds, trust me. Now, we don't use all of them. Look at me. I haven't starred any of them. There's a few I do use, but I'm not going to use all of them, and neither are any other thing. Everybody has their own preparation, and some of these indicators we make it ourselves, right? And we might publish it there, right? So you have to understand some of these indicators are pre-existing indicators that we've modified, and then we've published it and said, all right, people might find it beneficial to use. I don't personally publish anything. I don't even publish my chart. If I wanted to, I could have actually, and you'd see it on the homepage, but I don't, because the thing is, there's no point. Everybody has their own personal way of doing things. But what's important is, right, when you're looking at price action, you need your trend lines. right? If the trend is moving up, then the price needs to also move up. If the trend is moving downwards, then the price will mostly go down. But how far could it go, and what's it going to do? So that's what you have to understand. So I hope this answers your Harmony 1 question, what price to expect, where we're going, and all of those, right? So, you know, I hope this kind of does 2-in-1 because I know you spoke about, somebody spoke about Harmony 1 and they wanted to know the price. Ignore this 4. It's the 1618. That's what you're looking at. That's the target. And as you can see, this is exactly what the bull flag is showing. And this is where we want to go. And, you know, how much more confirmation do you want? And this is what I mean. Like, you know, some of the time I'll tell you guys, I'm like, look, it's the data that's saying all of this. It's not me. So as you can see, this is the data. And I can tell you, this data does not change. Even if I take this and I put it to a complete different location and draw another bull pole, it's going to show the same thing. And also for bull flags to be invalidated, let's show you this as well. This is really good. So you take a measuring tool from the top to the bottom or bottom to the top. It doesn't matter where you do, right? And what you'll find, the measuring tool automatically puts a central line. So when it does that, you can literally put a horizontal ray. And as soon as you do that, now you know your invalidation point. So if these candles come all the way down here, then this bull flag is invalidated. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. And I hope it's more clear for you now as well, how to understand bull flags, how to understand flag poles, and how to understand targets, right? So yeah, I'm not going to make this any longer. Yeah, hope this helps, and I'll catch you on another one. Like, subscribe, share, and let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on another one. Take care.